Welcome back, new listeners, old listeners. Cedric, my man, we
What's
are
that?
here
What's that?
once again where we like to be. I so look forward to this moment every week that we are able to connect and share this part of who we are. Um, the man cave experience. Really resonating with me, just kind of picturing this prehistoric location where men can men can invite in women. We can be that authentic, kind of truth-bearing individuals that allow us to really, kind of tap into those scary parts of us, those authentic parts of us.
Right.
So, man, I was sitting here today, so you kind of know what I went through, and I know you had a challenging, fun, exciting day as well. So, man, I was just full of anxiety, kind of. It's actually been kind of over the last week or so, just in anticipation of my first talk. I've done talks before. I've had a annual rose pruning presentation that I just, really resonates with me, and I feel so comfortable and kind of felt like it was going to be somewhat of a similar experience as far as just kind of having the ability to connect with people. But man, just 30 people were there. I had met none of them. There, it was an Asian youth center, group of employees and counselors that were there to, obviously have a weekly or monthly meeting that they have. But then
Hmm.
they invited me to come in and talk about wellness and about, kind of being more mindful and trying to integrate things into their practices to allow them to be, better employees and to be better counselors. But oh my gosh, as the moments came closer and closer, I was really kind of questioning a little bit about, God, am I going to be able to pull this off? Because I
Really?
practiced, I kind of felt like I've exemplified this vision and experience of being mindful, much more in my life than I ever have in the past. But man, the shadows kind of crept in on me, and I'm like, gosh, am I going to get up there and freeze? Or am I going to get up there and kill it? Because I got all these great comments like, looking at you, and who knows what's going to come out of the mouth. But man, trust set in. Wow. The first couple minutes where I was like a little uncertain how it was going to go, but it just, Cedric, what a freaking amazing experience. Um,
It
just
was like Dallas all over again, huh?
Well, it was in one way, as far as just feeling that connectiveness, but the energy obviously was much different. There was because I do a very good job of really looking around the room, trying to not individualize, who I'm looking at, really try to connect with each person and just really understand, body language. You do get those that are just engaged, those are, you know, checking their phone, those that are just kind of looking the other way. But man, everything came out fantastic. Um, the improvising, I had my PowerPoint, in front of me, I was referencing that, but just I was able to just trust. And I sometimes catch myself, kind of feeling that anxiety around my own performance, because I think I do put a lot of good vibes out there to others to really encourage them to let go, to be themselves, to trust their journey, to trust themselves. And I guess I at times catch myself, boy, Ron, do you trust yourself? Are you really, really walking the walk and talking the talk? And there's times that I haven't, to be honest with you. There's times where, I'm doing more, to help others and not really nourishing some of those areas that I'm not, focusing on. So, wow, just so,
So,
got home. Um, I know, just the importance of connection, kind of after, send out my survey, send out my follow-up emails, just thanking everybody. But, I guess I was going into this conversation tonight, I was just thinking, man, all that anxiety, was that beneficial? Was it something that drove me to be that, kind of person that I was during the talk? So I guess I'm just trying to think now, how I can learn from that. Is that going to now build more confidence? I'm assuming in myself that I've got this. Or, does that anxiety and those butterflies in the stomach or all those things we experience when we know we're going to do something, then we actually step up and do it? How we process that in our mind to really, kind of give that the best opportunity to really come out the way we want it to. So
well, let me ask you this though. Did anything, looking at it now and investigating all the emotion and stuff, or do you feel like there was any, and if so, like, do you feel like there was anything negative around the anxiousness?
No, I mean, I think I definitely felt this was my bread and butter. Being a health coach, being a life coach, those are things that resonate with me. And I have, but I think just when I really kind of break it down to where my strengths are and who I am as a man, the talk about mindfulness and all those things that I spoke about today are things that really I feel are so integral in us to be authentic, caring, giving individuals. So no, to answer your question, there was no negative thoughts around it. It was just more, okay, I stepped out, I gave myself up to do this. This wasn't something that was put on me, because sometimes there's that, you're assigned a task, or, you have to do something because that's just your responsibility, versus, man, I raised my hand and said, yeah, I'm available. I'm a professional. I'm going to show up to your place of employment, and I'm going to give your employees something that's going to change their life. And that's basically how it came out. And I, challenged them to, really tap into that better version of themselves. And it just felt fantastic. And I think, for me, it was just a step forward in my life, and allow myself to trust that even if nothing comes out of this other than just those, and I told the group there, I'm not here to sell you myself to you. I'm here to give you tools to allow you to become that better version of yourself. And if this conversation or this presentation gives you an opportunity to make a little bit different, thought, in your life that provides a more nourishing result, then I've done my job. And I actually went up to several, because there was a couple men in the front row, and just stopped in the middle of my talk, and was just kind of talking about how disconnected we are as in society today. And so I just walked up to that individual and said, "Hey, my name's Ron. What's your name?" And it was really kind of a defining moment, because it really, the two men that I introduced myself to, man, that just kind of put on hold the presentation, and it just kind of created a space where him and I met each other for the first time. And I guess out of that, I projected to the group, a challenge to, now why don't you be that next person, that somebody that you run into tomorrow or that you see on a regular basis, create that connection that maybe is lacking in this day and age more so than it has in the past. And I shared the story with you, and I shared with them that story of the janitor at the gym. So I won't go into that again, but that was just a whole cool kind of
creating that oneness, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
But I think, there was a lot of the time where I was just kind of, anxiety, we're talking about that. And I wasn't certain the feeling I was feeling inside for you, because I know around that same time or soon after that, you were going into something similar that I experienced a few weeks back of, being connected and involved in a, video recording live event where you're speaking with, two individuals that we really, look up to in the industry, as far as, Carrie and Stacy, and a group of people that are listening in, and some other people that we've met. So wow, tell me about that. I mean, I was feeling some anxiousness for you, which I don't feel that from afar, but I'm very interested to see, how anxiety maybe played into your leading up to your experience today.
Oh man, it was it was crazy. It was like, man, we were shooting it back towards each other. Like I was like, man, he getting ready to do his talk. Like, all right, I'm gonna check in real quick. All right, I can get ready to do this video thing over here. All right, cool. Damn, all right, the time difference. I can't check in and just make sure, my man. All right, hey, we gonna do it. um, man, leading up, it's weird. It was like when you're in the moment, I remember, first, I'm getting everything set up, camera and all of this stuff, trying to get all the lights and all that good stuff right. And, going through, you kind of thinking, man, I hope everything's all right. And then I remember we had a little break because we kind of do the little sound check thing because, you've gone through it. So you kind of check in, make sure all the video, all that good stuff's right. So, man, my brother and my mom were outside, and I'm like, I'm nervous. I was like, this is crazy. I'm gonna be in the room all by myself, just me and the camera. Nobody's gonna be there, but I'm nervous. But as I'm telling them I'm nervous, I'm like, you know what? I'm not nervous. It was a different energy. But then I was like, hey, you anxious? You just anxious, man. Ready to get on with the show. Ready to go ahead and see what you're gonna receive something.
Right.
That's how we try and make sense of it all. It's not something positive or negative. It's just I'm gonna receive something. Whatever I receive, how do I sort through it all, right? But let's get on with the show so I can get to seeing what's coming. I don't know, but I'm nervous. It's gonna be all these eyeballs. And yeah, man, it was but it was a fun ride. It was a dang fun ride, being able to look at the fear, the excitement, the unknown, all at the same time, the care, because I'm like, man, my boy out here getting ready to do something. I can't, like, all of it, just life, just life. But to be able to just slow it all down, man, and look at it and say, okay. Because I can remember it was a moment of just pure bliss. It was like, you know what, let's just do it and find out.
Right.
And so that's where I'm at today, man, because I feel like I blew it out of the water. I guess we'll see tomorrow when I replay it back, and then I'll have to hear the misses, because she was she was telling me earlier, because I'm like, hey, I just did the show, and she's like, man, that's cool, that's great. I'm like, all right, yeah. And then we're kind of sitting there, it's a moment of silence, and I'm like, damn, man, I could have said that. Like, could have said what? And I was like, oh, no, I was just thinking about the recording. And she was like, you always do that. Just stop, like, just bring it down. She was like, it's over with, just bring it down. You're always worrying about it, And I'm like, man, but so I guess we'll see tomorrow how it was. But
I think what came out of what you said, which was really awesome for me, was, you didn't talk a lot about, all the things that went on. Because I think when we look at and experience life, that anxiety or that anxiousness that went into it, that kind of pushed you in the direction of the experience that you had, was more about you just being present. It was about you being, kind of in that moment and just dealing with the uncertainty of what may come out of it. So I find that fascinating, because I think oftentimes we look at the, all the little data points that came along with that, like all the things you said, or, what the questions were, versus the experience. And you and I, talked a lot about that, right? About really enjoying just the process that you went through. And I think now I'm kind of reflecting back on, as things led up to this whole talk today, just really relishing that part of it more than, I mean, the experience was awesome. I mean, I'd be lying to you if I wasn't on a high from that and driving
Mhm.
home and just kind of experiencing that. But,
Right.
but now I'm just kind of thinking about, gosh, kind of the work that I did before, just that whole learning process, and now the work that I've done after to try to, kind of create that continued connection with, those that were there. Um, and I think that's important for us, right? In our lives to really put as much or sometimes even more value on, that whole journey that got us there, the good things, the bad things, the struggles, the successes. Even with us, I mean, doing this podcast channel, and we look back, at our first few ones. I mean, I don't think those are ones that we would say we wish we didn't do, but I think we're more mindful for lots of reasons now, because I think that's just who we've evolved into. But
Right.
also we're putting a better product out there. We're kind of being more mindful of what it looks like, what it sounds like, trying to create a better experience for others. So I think it just kind of ties into that whole big picture of, just really enjoying every single moment of your life. So I'm interested in kind of how you now look at, action steps for you, because obviously this was a huge step forward for you, and there's going to be that next step where that anxiety may come up again, that uncertainty. You committed to it, it's going to happen, and then it's like, okay, here we go. There's those early feelings of, can I do it? Is it going to be right? How is it going to be received? So I'm just interested, as you come out of this process, what was your biggest learning point about what you may have, where you can now integrate that into the next time you kind of take that next step forward?
Um, man, it's a fairly basic one, honestly, man. Is I've been given like a toolbox, right? And I have to fill that toolbox with experiences
Yeah.
and momentum, because I went through that. And prior to, I had all these thoughts, which thankfully for me, I was able to step through, and the show went on, right?
Mhm.
But now here I am, a couple hours later, and now we're recording a show. So obviously I survived, right? And we're celebrating our successes and just kind of checking in with all the stuff that could have possibly held us back, or that could have just did anything, right?
Mhm.
So going forward, I understand now it could be very detrimental. Like, and it's hard for me to say this because now I'm preaching to myself, like honestly, because I just went through it and I know something else is going to come up and I'm going to have all these other feelings all over again. Like we hear it,
Yeah.
new levels, new devils type stuff, right? So going forward, it's like, okay, well, now you've created this wave of momentum. You have to fill the toolbox, because if I stop, then I have nothing else to, it might be a hammer here, but over here I might just need a level, and over here I might just need a plumb or a square or whatever the case may be, right? But if I stop filling my toolbox, then I'll never get the project done, and I'll never see the beauty of the whole picture. So it's, again, like we said in many different ways, enjoy the ride, appreciate the journey, and when you're faced with it, go through. It's gonna be scary, but has anything that really scared you ever really killed you? When somebody jumped out, it was scary for a moment. You got me. All right, cool. Life went on, right? You forgot about it.
Yeah.
Same shit. Fear is fear. Life, you got me. Okay, cool. You got me. Life goes on. You forget about it, right? So why not do it for the better? Like, fuck you. Just see what happens. Here it is, and now I got getting to chill with two of the founders, man, and having them just in awe, not in the humblest way possible. That's how I received it. But and seeing the text messages pouring out from literally all over the world saying, hey, I feel your story, and just putting it out there, man. And for people, just step through it. Fill your toolbox.
Right.
That's, man, I don't know, man. I'm on one. Like, I get to talking all day and go on some motivational stuff now. I'm on one.
Well, I think our willingness to be that person, right, that just gives that and puts that out there. I mean, how that allows others to feel that sense of comfort, knowing that they can step into areas that they have maybe felt uncomfortable. I mean, I think getting up, who knows, of the 30 some people that were in this audience today with me, how many of them, maybe it wasn't about the talk, maybe it was more about, gosh, I'd like to be able to stand up someday and share with a group of people about what resonates with me. And, if that's what comes out of that, then that's awesome as well. So I think we have, certain things that we like to put out there and not knowing what's going to happen. But we create these subtle ripples and not know where they may go. I mean, all these different possibilities. I think that's the uniqueness of really putting yourself out there and allowing yourself to share all of you, is those little gifts that we have that we are able to then share and allow others to feel like, gosh, I've got these amazing gifts as well that I want to give to others and let them experience that. And I think that's what makes the world a better place, is when we can understand and really appreciate all of the things that we have, that we possess, that we can share, and not feel like I need to hold my little gifts, close at heart and not share them with you, but to share them knowing that that's going to be, an enhancement in their life, but also, again, that opportunity for them to open up their own heart and share themselves in a way that maybe they're reluctant to or unable to, or just had no desire to in the past. And how beautiful is that? I mean, I posted today about just feeling like I'm this, slow opening flower, not something that's just desiring to burst into full bloom. And some people are different, right? Some people have that ability. Some people
Coming through the club, baby.
Some people have that ability or that desire or just that kind of way about themselves to, be in full bloom all the time. They just keep popping buds here and there. They keep boom, 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 boom. We're all unique that way, right? What's comfortable for each one of us. So I think I was just kind of envisioning myself today, just being that magnificent, big, bulbous flower that's just slowly opened up and just showing all of who I am and the beauty that I have within myself. And not saying this to, kind of gloat about who I am, but just that's how I feel about myself. And I think that's just something that allows me to really be mindful of, kind of where I'm at in my life and not feel like it's a race. Just know that I'm here to, do the best I can to be the best man I can and strive to be better. And I think that's something that, we inspire in each other. Those listening may, gain some insight into some areas that they can, kind of tap into and do the same thing. But anxiety, wow. I mean, it can be, as I mentioned early on, it can be something very, when you look at chronic, anxiety and how it can just be debilitating for people. And how do you recognize that, in your life to where it doesn't become that? Because, those, we've talked about uncertainty as well, uncertainty, anxiety, all these things kind of tie to fear. These all kind of tie together in a way that could be, very eye-opening to grow, or it can also be something that just creates, all of this darkness and close yourself off and don't allow yourself to be, go back to Smallville, right? I've lived in Smallville for parts of my life. I mean, it'd be very easy to go back and live that life and not worry about, things to the point where I'm putting, allowing myself to experience life. But that's Smallville is for me. So
he ended up in Metropolis. So that's gone.
So just to kind of slightly change the topic, I know we're kind of running some good time here. So how's anxiety feeling for you as far as your fatherhood? I know that's getting closer. I know I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but
Oh nah, man. That was gonna I was gonna bring that up. Um, man. Oh man, it's like right now. I'm glad you shit, dude, because she just went to the doctor yesterday, and he's at 5 pounds, right? So he's growing drastically, and so now we're what, 9 weeks out? So we're 9 weeks away. He's at 5 pounds. And if he gets over 7, then they're gonna go ahead and take him. So I'm like, wait a minute, man. Like, this is like, hold on, wait a minute.
slow down, stop your growth.
Right. But I got all this other stuff. I'm like, man, wait. I'm just coming into, like, we're trying to get the show. We got the show going. We got some good momentum. I got stuff going, and yeah. But I had a good talk with my uncle today, man. Kind of grind, just like, hey, different dynamic. My grandfather was there, in the home with him, and I was just like, hey, we talked about fatherhood and a bunch of stuff, and he was just kind of giving me some pointers, and it was kind of helped ease me out. But hell, man, I mean, you're a daddy. And I'm sure any other mama, daddy know what it's like. You're like, yes. You want them to come, but wait a minute, take your time. I'm not quite ready, but shit, I want to meet you. Do I have everything? Like, what the hell? Okay, I gotta, it's all of that.
Yep.
Just trying to keep it all at bay, man, and not lose my wit about it.
Yeah, and I guess the advice I would give to you is just be in the moment, right? Because that's where you're going to find your center. That's where you're going to find your ability to kind of keep focused on the balance that you're creating in your life. Keeping your heart leading with your heart. But yeah, I mean, that's those things that you're experiencing. We all have different things that we're what's tomorrow going to entail for any one of us. We just look at the world in general today, and I mean, there's different ways you can look at it, right? You can just look at the chaos, the chaos that seems to be going on in the world. We process that. We kind of put our own judgment on that, or our own values on that. Is that our life? Is that the world? Is that the universe? Kind of how that whole thing kind of ties together. So we still have that opportunity, even in a world today that's changing by the second, whether it's technology or just the global kind of movement of integration and all these things that are happening around us. How do we process things to the point, or effectively, so anxiety doesn't become so predominant and uncertainty can feel okay. It could you can be kind of open to the experiences that are ready to unfold in your life, and allow fatherhood, or these other experiences that we're all that you and I are going through as coaches, and as as friends, and all these other roles that we play in our life, really try to realize and understand we're deciding how we're going to respond to those things. And I think when we feel out of control, and we feel like the world's against us, or the universe is against us, and all the odds are against us, that's just us finding a simple way out of owning the situation, and realizing we can make choices that allows for a better result.
Hell yeah. Like, I was listening. I was like, man, honestly, it was something you told me, or I heard you say. I know it came from you, and it helped me a whole lot, though, and it kind of tie into all of this, man. Everything happens to us on purpose, for your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I remember you saying something along those lines, and I came up with that. That's how it registered to me. Everything happens to you on purpose, for your purpose. So I'm like, okay, well, man, and like this being present, and that's what makes, like, I slow down, and the chaos really kind of becomes a million different color paints splashed on the canvas.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the cool thing about it. No matter who you are on this planet, you have the choice to look at it one way or any other.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty. So I get to choose, wait a minute, slow it down. Hey, it's okay. Something's gonna happen. Something's going to happen,
Yeah.
be it negative or positive. Sort through it. So, all right, all of that stuff, yeah, it's cool. It's coming in. It's like, but now I'm looking at it like, you know what? I can actually slow it all down, and I can remember hearing different conversations having with people. They're like, oh, enjoy this part, enjoy that, get some sleep, enjoy this, and this is all the stuff I'm thinking about. And they're like, enjoy it, enjoy it. So now I'm like, all right, this is for like, all right, I'm a part of that story now because I'm gonna be able to come back and be like, hey, son, enjoy your sleep. Hey, enjoy your sanity because you're gonna have a lot of shit going through your mind, you know. So it's like, cool, man, this is the story. So yeah, like,
And your son, as well as like we do, we pick and choose what value we put on what those, those thoughts that come up, right? So, I brought that up today in the talk. How many of our thoughts are actually ours? Or is it, this is kind of what my father told me is the right way to think, so now I think that same way, versus, I challenge the listeners, I challenge you, Cedric, I challenge myself to be an innovator of your own thoughts, to really be willing to, you know, really put the attention on the thoughts that provide you nourishment, and realize you have that opportunity to, think about anxiety, think about uncertainty, think about fear, all those things that can become very overwhelming in our lives, to really, put them in check. I mean, know that they're there, know that they can create, they can be bigger in your life than they need to be. But sometimes they're tools for us to learn. And I think if we didn't have some of those dark parts of us, I think, then we wouldn't have that gratitude towards, how good we can be. I mean, it would just be, we're all just good and everything's perfect and we've got nothing to learn from, versus, there's a lot of opportunity in anxiety. Like today, I learned a lot about myself, allowing the whole process to go through, and within a very short period of time of being up there in front of people that I had never met in my life, to where it was like magic.
and I'm here, I'm like, man, you know what? That's what I see a lot though, is anxiety. I think a lot of our being stagnant starts off as anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
because you're anxious and you have all of this stuff, but then there's a moment where it can either be a motivator or it can turn to something negative, because now we start throwing in all the judgment, and people don't necessarily know how to deal with the anxiety.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, damn, like it started out, but even, it's stuff that, hell, like I've stepped through now, but I used to face it. And, the intention started off because there gets to a point to where you want to accomplish whatever it is, whatever goal. And it's like, oh, I want to do it. And you think about all the good stuff and you're like, yeah, like I'm going to knock that, I'm going to kill it. I'm going to knock it out, right?
Right.
Then you go to sleep.
Yep.
Right? You wake up, shit, I got to cook breakfast. I got to do this, I got to do that. You're not thinking about, oh, okay, now you got to sit down and do whatever task it is to get to the next level. And then now you got time, though, and it's, well, what if, oh, I can just, oh, well, you still want to do it because now you're like, man, I want to do, man, I'm going to go ahead and kill it. But, oh, man, let me just go out here. Okay, now I'm nervous. Let me go out here and sort, and it start like that, right? Man, but yeah, that's what I really see. A lot of people just don't know how to deal with it.
Right.
But I know for me, like, it's now mentioning, because I'm like sitting here and you was saying you had the talk, and because I'm hearing, man, you created a ripple. But for me, what helped me keep going is, what if though, bro? What if your purpose, like I say, everything is gonna happen to you on purpose for your purpose. And if God of the universe put you here for a purpose and to do this, and I feel like you walking in your purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you felt that anxiety, what if though? What if you wouldn't have did it? What if I wouldn't have did this and resonated with some student? Like, how many other people gonna be affected by that?
Right.
How many other people would miss their blessing if you wouldn't have stepped through that? You don't know how many lives you done impacted. And so now, and that's what keeps me going sometimes. And I'm not gonna lie, it sounds easier said than done. And please believe it's still some shit out there that I'm still dealing with them demons, trying to continue to step through. And I'm fighting, step through. And some of them you have small victories to, win the war, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that is something that I truly, truly deal with. And most times when I'm just like, let's go, that's what it is. I'm like, man, who gonna miss their blessing? Who might miss out if I don't step up?
Right.
So kudos, man. Like for real. And I know like that was something you helped when you was kicking me in the ass about that. And I was trying to give you some book, like trying to try any kind of story, man. Here we go. You're like, nope. Hey, shit gonna happen basically.
Yeah. Yeah. And for listeners, I think for you, there's probably parts of this that you can say, wow, that really is an area that I've been kind of stuck in my life before. And I think, I would encourage you to kind of look at the seed of where these things start. Anxiety starts, at a certain point of your life. So if some of these topics that we talk about, over time that we've put out there, or today's talk, or, just in life in general, when you're engaging in a conversation with people or just experiencing life, just pay attention to your body, where some of that energy starts kind of bubbling up, or where some of those emotions, kind of begin, and really allow that to be where your work is. Not so much the data that goes along with it, but more, maybe it's that sadness, or maybe it's that, fear. And I think the more we're able to kind of sit, in those situations, sit in anxiety, like I did for the last week or so, just kind of let that resonate through me and accept it, versus feeling like it's an unnatural, unnecessary thing. It's kind of how we can reframe the experiences we have. So, if you listening, guys listening in, take a step back in your life and really kind of experience yourself. Cedric and I do this on a regular basis, just in conversation, as well as just, trying to inspire others to, as a coach, to take a step back and to really kind of view and experience yourself. And I think you can really learn a lot about where to start in your life by, taking that first step in transformation, of really just kind of viewing and allowing yourself to, kind of be curious about, wow, there's Ron doing that same behavior that he's done all these other years. What's up with that? What's kind of the starting point, or the seed where that, started from. So for me, this conversation, really resonated, but not the other ones haven't, but I think this, really was kind of on task or on topic for me today. And I think for Cedric as well. And, hopefully this is good information for you guys listening in to, kind of look at and experience those little subtle things that, can be indicators of anxiety, indicators of fear. I mean, when you look at the bigger picture of what fear is in your life, that can be very daunting. But maybe if you just kind of sense where in your body fear is located, and maybe really kind of tap into that energy and see what, kind of what you can learn about that. So really appreciate you guys hanging in with us. And Cedric, I know you've got some closing comments to make.
Man, just really, if I had any advice to give to anybody, man, especially around this anxiousness stuff, is, and it's coming from a place of love, but it's something you got to do. Don't be afraid to do the work. And what I mean is, when you feel that emotion, and this goes with any other emotion, don't be afraid to explore it, explore where it's coming from. Why is it making you feel whatever it is you're feeling, be it good or bad? Because if it's good, latch onto it. If it's bad, it's bad. But man, like this was right on time, right on time. Yeah, like I this couldn't have even been a better topic. I feel like I can't even really get full sentences out. I already can't talk because I'm excited when we do the show, but I'm exploding. It's hard to hold it in, and and like this is one of those, man, those shows of like I really want everybody listening in to be able to just to hop into my head to witness it, because this is a very pivotal moment for me. I have to add it, man. Like a lot of stuff, like a lot of my fears were stepped through again tonight. To be able to go on social media, and I've kind of put it out there like, hey, I'm going to be posting tomorrow, but to have people from around the world, strangers, to watch it, it's like, okay, shit, just turn the camera on now and go. But it's different when we do the show because I kind of feel like, hey, I got Ron. You know, I'm looking at you. It's different when you're by yourself trying to do your own thing. So, man, that just makes me grateful for y'all listening in, for Ron, for just men in general, everything to bring us even to this point. Because now I'm like, I can't wait to wake up in the morning. You know, but then again, I'm gonna be faced with that moment of hesitation. And now I got a recent victory to carry me through, you know. So, man.
Well, great story today, Cedric. Appreciate your time always. Namaste to you and to all the listeners out there.
Namaste.